Good morning, everybody. Welcome to White City Place Connect, where we're providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage while supporting well-being from the comfort and safety of your homes. My name's Dora. For those of you who don't know me, you're very welcome, and all the familiar faces that I can't see are also very welcome too. We're going to begin our practice today seated, so you may want to prop yourself up on a blanket or a cushion if you have one or two nearby, some yoga blocks, or you can sit with your back against the wall or a sofa if you need a little bit more support, if this is a difficult place to begin your practice. Sitting either cross-legged or in Virasana, so on your shins. Most importantly, we want to find that slight pelvic tilt so the spine can be straight, but without being too rigid and without having to use too much muscular effort to hold yourself upright. So that may even be with your legs outstretched or in a Utkatasana. So take just a few moments to settle. Placing your palms face down on your thighs. Noticing if you're leaning forward, that tends to be what we do, but not necessarily. Just bringing your spine back about an inch, so that you're right here, right now. Lengthening up through the back of the neck, base of the skull, and travel your awareness over the crown of your head, and down the front of your face as the skin softens downwards. Perhaps slightly close your eyes. Turning your awareness or your gaze down towards the heart space in the center of the chest. And dropping your awareness of I am from the frontal lobe of the brain and the sensory organs of the face to the heart. Dropping your sense of I amness from head to heart. And noticing in the body how you are sitting, if you are collapsing, or if you're propping, if you're quite highly perched. If you tend to collapse, you might notice that the energy is quite heavy. Or if you're more of a propper, perhaps the energy is a little more heightened, maybe a little bit more anxious. And when we collapse, the breath tends to descend. And when we prop, the breath tends to rise. And really, these are the two polarities. So let's just see if instead of collapsing, we can yield. So we're consciously allowing the energy of the body to root downwards. And that will be particularly useful if you feel like you're lifting yourself up, if the breath is in the chest and you're propping yourself upright. If instead you're a collapser, you might want to engage the downward action through the sit bones just a little bit more. And when we yield, when we consciously release downwards, we receive the uplift. It creates a much more sustained energy. So checking in with your energy and how it is right now, and if it's changed in any way, in accordance to the way that you are receiving gravity. And of course, the breath is the manifestation of energy. So just checking in with your breath. And this is all information. There's no judgment. And perhaps noticing this oscillation between propping and collapsing. This constant little dance of weight and energy through the body. And the body's relationship with the earth and the space around it. Let's bring the hands to the heart in prayer. Bow your head a little further towards the tips of the fingers and open your eyes here if they've been closed. And then raising your gaze, opening your eyes. So coming off any props you may be sitting on and stretching your legs out in front of you. Take the hands behind you and just start to rotate the feet. And some big juicy circles of your ankle joints. Nice and deliberate in one way and the other way. And taking your right ankle, place it directly underneath your left knee joint, folding your left shin across. Ankles underneath the knees, it's more of a square pose. Take a hold of your right thigh muscle from the inside. Rotate it inwardly around the bone. Do the same with the left thigh around the bone. The sit bones a little bit here. And then take the fingertips by the hips. Base of the skull in line with the tailbone. Feel that rooting quality through the tips of your fingers and your sit bone to the left. Turn your right palm up. Take an inhale. Exhale, float over into the side stretch. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, so the breath pours into the shape that you make. Inhale, there's between the inhale and the exhale, a little suspension. Couple more times, lifting the ribcage up off the waist. Inhale, exhale. And coming, center, take your hands onto your knees, fingers are pointing forward, elbows hugging in, hinge forward, heart towards the shins. Reaching back, tips of the ears moving forward, and there's a slight flex to the foot here to protect your knee joints. No forcing or bouncing, just the weight of your upper body taking you down, opening up the hips. Let's swing heart to the right knee as you exhale and come up a little bit, inhale. Exhale, heart center swings across to the opposite knee, exhale and inhale. Keep going with this. We're drawing a little half circle, a little semicircle across with your heart. Exhaling, inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Coming to the center once again. Face and the throat back. Reach your elbow points back, but feel the sides of your body lengthening. And using your hands to help you back up. And stretching your legs out in front of you once again. Lift back a little bit if you want to. And then as if your feet were doors, you're going to turn one another away from one another. And as you do this, just notice the muscles either side of your shins firing up. Soles of the feet turn towards one another. Soles of the feet away from one another. A couple of times. And often we get a little bit of cramp in the feet if we're not using feet. We're trying to bring a bit more tone. Because the tonality of the feet will reflect all the way up in the body throughout the tissues, toning the tissues of the body and affect the way that we stand, our posture. And give your ankles and legs a little waggle there. Taking now your left ankle underneath your right knee and your right shin in front, walking the ankles underneath the knees. Take that little rotation of thigh muscle in tone. Incorporating these two movements we've just done, hands come off the shin. Lengthen out through the sides of the body. This time reach the fingertips out beyond the knees. Sweep your right fingertips across in a semicircle on the earth as you exhale. Inhale, open up the heart into your side bend. Exhale, right fingertips followed by your left. And inhale. Exhaling, reaching out. And like a compass, your fingers are tracing the most perfect semicircle here. Make a little groove into the earth, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhale. One last time, sweeping across. And then coming all the way up. Lovely. If you can, you're going to lean back, lift the feet off the floor, pull the feet in to make this transition over the shins. If not, just make your own way onto your hands and knees. Coming into tabletop with the hips above the knees, the shoulders above the wrists. Keep the base of your skull lifted, keep your upper body still, and just start to waggle your tail. So just working the lower part of your body here from navel to pubis. It's like a mini cat and cow, but without involving the shoulders and the head just yet. This part of our spine tends to get a little bit stuck and fused. It has probably the least amount of mobility. The part that runs through the pelvis. And then we're going to take a full cat and cow as you exhale. Press the palms and shins down, lift the navel. Upper body can get involved here when you exhale. As you inhale, left heart, bones. Exhale, press down, lift the navel, round the spine as you exhale. Inhaling. One more time. Exhaling. This time as you inhale, touch shoulder blades up the back. Float the knees off the floor. Come into a half down dog so the knees are still half bent. Lower the knees to the floor on your inhale. Exhale, sit down onto the heels. Maybe keep the toes tucked. Inhale, coming up, lift your heart, broaden your sit bones. Exhale, float the knees off the floor, press the belly to thighs, half down dog. Inhale, lower your knees to the floor. Exhale, sit onto the heels, still with the toes tucked. The breath initiates the movement. Inhaling, coming up, lift the heart, broaden the sit bones. Exhale, this time unfolding. Maybe straightening the legs a little bit more in your down dog. And sliding the shoulder blades up the back. And keeping the joints fluid and suggestible as you breathe. Let's walk the hands back towards the feet. You're going to bend the knees so you can hang over your legs here, tracking the knees over the middle two toes and letting the head go. Take your right hand to the outside of your right foot, beyond the tips of the fingers, and your left hand stretches across the floor beyond your right little toe. You can keep both knees bent here, or maybe begin to straighten your left leg a little bit, or a lot. You feel quite a strong pull through the fascial web of the left side of your body. And then let yourself drift back through to the center, let the head go. Take your left fingertips outside your left foot and your right fingertips reach across your mat beyond your left little toe. Those knees can stay bent, or you can begin to straighten your right leg, pressing back through the top of the right thigh so you feel this wonderful opening through the fascial web of the right side of your body. And then let yourself come back, drift back through to the center. Looking forward along your mat, walk your hands forward, so coming into a downward facing dog. And stroking the floor with the ball of your right foot until that leg becomes so long it floats up behind you. It doesn't have to be high. Push the mat forward with the palms of the hands. Take an inhale. As you exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, take the leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extending. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Allow your right toes to drift forward and place the shin to the floor. Slide your back toes away a little bit. Stay relatively high in the hips. Lower your back knee. And just take a little wiggle with the hips here. So it's a very easy, limbering pigeon. Just opening up the muscles around the top of your left thigh into the glute of your right leg. Coming to the center, walk your hands directly underneath the shoulders. Lift your back knee, press vertically down with the hands. Float your right shin off the floor, hovering pigeon. And then step back into a downward facing dog. Float the whole body forward in one piece into plank position. Lower your knees. Lengthen your tailbone, lower belly tones. Come forward with the shoulders. Pull the elbows in, chest comes to the floor. Slide your legs away from you, little internal rotation in the tops of both thighs. Pull your hands back, lengthen your heart forward, baby cobra. As if you're trying to release your lower ribs, extending your heart into space. And there's quite a strong pullback with the hands here. Release down. Push into the hands, back onto hands and knees. Tuck toes, downward facing dog. Keeping the joints soft and feeling how the breath pulsates through the body here. As if you were a feather, the breath lifts you on the inhale, releases you down on the exhale. Stroke the floor with the ball of your left foot until the toes become long and that leg so long it floats up behind you. Reaching from inner thigh, inner ankle, inner big toe. It's the palms of the hands down and forward, and as you exhale, knee to nose. Inhaling, extending the leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Swing the toes across, forward a little bit, release the shin, lower the back knee, stay up with the hips and not to your maximum, it's just a limbering pigeon. Take a little sway with the hips from side to side. So pass through the center. Come to the center, walk your hands underneath the shoulders. So you can press vertically down, lift the back knee, hover your pigeon. Step back into a downward facing dog. Float the whole body forward in one piece as you inhale. Exhale, knees, lengthen tailbone, shoulders forward at the wrists, hugging the elbows in as you drop the chest. Slide the legs away, lifting inner thighs towards the ceiling. Bury the pubic bone and pull your hands back. They won't go anywhere. Just tractioning out of the lower back, extending your heart forward into space. And then pushing back up onto hands and shins. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Maybe a little cat and cow here, just with the lower part of your body. So curling your turban under on the exhale, lifting it towards the sky on the inhale. Just mobilizing those vertebrae that run through the pelvis. And then walking your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. And sitting into Utkatasana, reaching your arms forward. Create loads of length from the tips of the fingers through to your sit bones. Pouring the weight into the right leg, rise up, lifting your left knee with you as you inhale. Cross the ankle over, hands into prayer. Start to hinge, so one-legged Utkatasana, as if you were to take one elbow onto the ankle, one onto the knee. Soften the face, soften the front of the throat. And rising up, lifting your left knee with you as you inhale. Exhale, dive back, take the fingertips either side of your front foot. Plant the palms down, your right leg's going to sweep up behind you into the three-legged dog. Bring the heel to the sit bone. Open the hip and knee towards the ceiling. Notice what's happening to your left leg. Keep that integral in its down dog position. So this is a reverse pigeon here. Feel very flexible in the back. Lift the lower ribs a fraction. If you feel that you're dumping into your lower back here. As you exhale, come forward, bring your knee to your navel. Slide the right leg across the floor, flexing. Place the back heel down. And then root into your right palm, lifting up your left arm, fallen angel. Make sure the back foot is on the floor here. Take the hands back to the earth. Bring your knee to your navel and stretch the leg up once again. Looking forward, where you're going to place that foot, step it in between the hands, help it through if you need to. Make sure you're not too long here. Root down into the earth to receive the uplift. Reach your left arm forward and this arm's going to carry you up, back heel to the floor, opening up your arms into warrior two. Right leg in front, draw the right thigh bone back into the socket. Allow this left hip to rotate in a little bit here. Straightening up your front knee, swing your hips back, and as you inhale, reach out as if coming into Trikanasana. Exhale, hand comes onto shin, arm comes up and over. As you inhale, keep the body where it is, open the arms out wide, and then exhale, come back up. So 4 stages. Inhale, reach. Exhale, Trikanasana. Inhale, arms open. Exhale, come back up. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Raise your right arm up by your ear, slide the left hand down onto the back leg. Lift up your right toes, turn them in. You turn all the way around towards the left leg, swiveling up the back heel into a lunge. Right fingertips come to the floor, and the left arm circles back, rises vertically into a twisted lunge. Take the hands to the floor, step back into a high plank. If you wish, you can take chaturanga into up dog, or stick with me in a half variation, knees to the floor, chest to the earth, sliding forward this time, baby cobra, and then back into your downward facing dog. Soften the elbows, scoop the armpits forward, and feel a circuit that runs from your left palm up your left arm, across the shoulder blades and down the right arm into the palm of the hand. Just allowing the energy to pour from your body and into the earth. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Feet are hip distance apart. Sit down into Utkatasana, chair pose as you reach your arms forward, softening into the groins. Pour the weight into the left leg and as you inhale, right knee rises. Cross the ankle over, hands into prayer. One-legged Utkatasana. Maybe making a little shelf here for your forearms. And the skin of the face is softening downwards. Rising up. Left knee, right knee rises. Dive back into a lunge. Left leg sweeps up behind you, three-legged dog. Bend the heel to the sit bone. Lift the knee towards the ceiling, opening up the belly. Toes are curling towards the opposite sit bone there. Rolling your left shoulder blade down. If you feel you're dumping into your lower back, the lower ribs lift a little bit here. Doesn't want to be too much of a back bend. As you exhale, come forward, knee to navel, slide the left foot across the floor. Back heel comes down, root down through your left arm, right arm rises. Hand back to the earth, knee to navel. Extending the leg up as you inhale. And then stepping the foot forward in between the hands. Help it through with your left hand if you need. Make sure you're not too long or too low in the hip. Root down to receive the uplift. The right arm reaches forward and this arm's going to carry you. Back heel to the floor, warrior two. Left thigh draws back. Right hip rotates in. Straighten up as you inhale, reach. Exhale, Trikanasana. Inhale, body stays where it is as the arms expand. Exhale, shoulders above the hips. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Left arm comes up by the ear. Right arm slides down. Lots of space between the armpit and the hip. Lifting up your left toes, swiveling them in. Turning yourself all the way around towards the right foot. Back heel comes up. Left fingertips come to the floor. Right arm continues to circle into a twisted lunge. Hand comes to the floor. Stepping back into a downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Navel lengthening towards the sternum and also lengthening in opposition towards the pubis. So you're radiating out from your navel center into all 6 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs, crown of the head and tailbone. Walking your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Bending your knees, sitting down into Utkatasana. Pouring the weight into the right leg, raising up the left knee. Second variation. As you cross the ankle over, circle your right hand onto your sacrum. Stay with the first variation if you just want to keep it a little simple. And the left forearm comes to the inside of your foot. So you might take a little twist here. So left forearm inside the front foot, right hand onto the sacrum. Yeah, and then rising up once again with the knee and diving back, taking the hands to the floor. Sweep your right leg up behind you. Bend heel to sit bone, lift the knee, reverse pigeon. Bring the knee to the navel, slide the leg across, back heel down, maybe fallen angel. Right hand to the floor, knee to navel, pulse back, and step the foot in between the hands. Reach the left arm forward, let it carry you up, back heel to the floor, warrior two. Straighten up your front knee, reach as you inhale, exhale, hand comes to the shin. Left arm can be vertical, return the arm over by the cheek. A few breaths here. Noticing where the breath inhabits the body and how on each inhalation we move into our direct experience. Each exhalation there's a little sense of letting go. And this time bending your right knee, maybe sliding the hand down onto the foot. Leaning the base of your skull back a fraction. Chin slightly in. Releasing the fingertips to the floor. Turning your toes in. Your feet are parallel. Lift and lengthen your heart. And as you exhale, walk the fingertips back towards the toes. Let the crown of the head release down. Maybe nod and shake your head here, just releasing any tension. And as you inhale, lift and walk your fingertips forward. So you're making little cups with your hands, as if you were stretching your arms out towards a down dog. Keep the weight anchored into the hips and the heels. You might release your right hand and reach it across towards your left ankle. Still the shoulders are fairly square here, so we're not twisting the upper body too much. Engage your core. Left fingertips float off the floor and open up the arm into a twist. And you're reaching out to the crown of the head, almost as if you're gently pressing back to the top of that shin. Left arm comes all the way over, reaching your right arm out so you're stretching out again. And then walking the hands back. And all the way around towards the right foot. Lowering your back knee down onto the floor, walking your hands back as you lift your right toes. And possibly right from the root of your thigh, taking an external rotation. So the little toe edge of your foot rotates towards the floor, but the movement is happening from the top of the thigh rather than just the ankle joint or the foot. Turning your knee and toes up, walk yourself back onto the foot, lift the back knee. Use the hands so you can glide that right foot back gracefully into a down dog. Float forward into plank. Either full chaturanga, if that makes sense to you, an up dog, or knees, chest, through into a baby cobra, and back into a downward facing dog. Lovely, walking your feet forward towards the backs of your wrists. Letting yourself hang there for a moment. As you take a hold of the elbows, notice how the weight adjusts between the balls and heels of your feet. Release the fingertips to the floor. Sit down into Utkatasana, chair pose. Pour the weight into your left leg, coming up with your right knee. So if you want to engage a little twist here, the left hand comes onto the sacrum. As you cross the ankle over, the right forearm comes into the arch of the foot. You may look down and turn the heart against your gaze that's on the floor. You may put your foot down a few times like I just did. Try to soften the supporting foot, the muscles in the supporting foot. And keep the breath flowing. Notice the tendency to hold the breath when we're balancing. Raising up the knee and diving back, taking the fingertips either side of your front foot. Sweep your left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Heel to sit bone. Lift the knee, open up the belly. Reverse pigeon. Exhale, come forward, knee to navel. Slide the leg across the floor, back heel down, maybe raising up your right arm, inflating the hips. Hand to the earth, knee to navel, pulse back, and step the foot in between your hands. Reach your right arm forward, let your right arm carry you into a warrior two, back heel down. Strain up the front knee, reach as you inhale, exhale, hand comes onto the shin. Maybe the arm comes over by the cheek, or you can keep the arm vertical. Rooting down through both legs. Allowing the breath to travel from your core out through the extremities. We're not necessarily breathing to create or to practice asana. We're practicing asana to facilitate the breath. As you bend your left knee, maybe the hand slides down onto the ankle. And then taking both sets of fingertips to the floor, spin your left toes in. Stretching the arms forward once again, catching the floor with the pads of your fingers. So the sides of the body are long. Anchoring through your hips and heels. So just notice if the hips are coming forward here. And then your left arm feeds through behind the right arm. Maybe catches a hold of the right leg, shin or ankle. Still with the shoulder blades relatively square to the earth. Engage your core, the right fingertips float off the earth, circling upwards vertically. And extending away from that shin. Right arm comes all the way back and up and over where it was before. Left arm stretches forward. And allowing the fingers to come back closer towards the toes. Walk around towards the left. Lower your back knee. Walking the fingertips back, lifting the front toes. Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe a little external rotation right from the roots of your thigh. Turning knee and toes back. Come back onto the foot. Lift the back knee, step back into a downward facing dog. Lovely. Let's float the right leg up behind us. Heel to sit bone, opening the knee and the belly towards the ceiling. So reverse pigeon once again. Come forward, placing the right shin to the earth. Knee a little bit wider than the hip. Lower your back knee down. Just do a little zip upwards. So come onto the tips of the fingers, a little zip up through the pelvic floor, up through the core of your body. And then we can start to find that length. So we release the back toes. Feel where your hips are in space. You could stay here. We'll lift the navel over the shin or heel, coming onto forearms. Or maybe spreading the elbows and resting your forehead on the backs of your hands, or fist, one on top of the other. And if you find you've gone too far, then just come up a stage. Just coming back to your breath. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the inhale. A beginning, a middle, and an end to the exhale. And there's a beginning, middle, and end to each moment. Each moment becoming each day, each week, each experience, each emotion, each scenario. And walking your hands back towards you. Roll yourself onto your right sit bone and sweep your left leg around. So you're going to be here. Take the left elbow inside and take a hold of the outer edge of your foot. Put your right foot in a little bit if you need to. And you could hold onto the shin or the knee there. And like a half happy baby, there's a strong external rotation as you start to extend the leg. And keeping mine halfway bent. Try to lift yourself a little bit taller towards the fronts of your sit bones. Great. Now as you take your right hand behind you, lean back, take the right foot to the floor and cross the left ankle over. Both hands come behind you, fingers can point forward or back and lift the heart towards the shin. Keep those sit bones dropping. So notice if you're a bit of a propper, your sit bones might be off the floor. Let them yield to the earth. And then your right ankle just tucks underneath here as you place the left foot over the top. Now initially you might find that left sit bone is lifted. Give yourself a few breaths to see if you can level the rim of the pelvic bowl. If that's really difficult, you could sit on a block to give yourself a bit more elevation, or even keep the bottom leg extended. So be at a half pose here. Interlace the fingers around the knee, press the knee into the hands, lift yourself tall, create space between the belly and the thigh. And then the left arm comes behind you as you twist towards the knee. On each inhalation, the tailbone reaches down, the crown of the head reaches up. Each exhalation, you move into the space you created by lengthening the spine. As you inhale, the tailbone reaches down, the crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, move into the space. Float yourself around, take a little counter twist. Left hand onto the inner ankle bone. And then unwinding. Perhaps you're crossing the ankles, flipping over this way, over the front, or any way you can to step back into a downward facing dog. Maybe just walk your dog here, letting the hips roll. Anything that feels good to release the knees and the hips. Floating your left leg up behind you. Heel to sit bone. Lifting the knee, opening up the belly into your reverse pigeon. Coming forward and sweeping the left shin to the floor. Knee is a little bit wider than the hip. Lower your back knee. Come onto the fingertips. Do a little zip upwards from the pelvic floor as you pull the front shin and back knee towards one another, and from that tension start to release, sliding the top of the thigh, top of the foot. If you're coming further, imagine the navel lifting over the ankle or the heel. You could come to the forearms, getting a little bit more length in that back leg. Or further down, forehead onto hands, or onto fists, spreading the shoulder blades. So again, we're not just collapsing here. There's an active release to the earth, but an awareness of the breath and how it lifts and releases you. And coming back to the direct experience of this pose, a wordless experience. Making our way up out of this, slowly rolling onto your left sit bone, circling your right leg around. Right elbow comes inside of the knee, maybe taking a hold of the outer edge of the foot. Left hand can stay onto the shin. There's a strong external rotation, so if you were lying down, this would be a lot like a half happy baby here. With the arm bones back into their sockets. And then your left hand comes behind you as you lean back to place the left foot flat on the floor. Right ankle comes over. Take the hands behind you. Heart lifts towards the shin. Both sit bones are rooting down. And then folding your left shin underneath you, right foot to the floor. You can lift and place the sit bones down. Give yourself a few breaths, possibly. Sit up on a block if you need to, or extend the bottom leg if you need to just create a bit more space there. And the pelvic rim, the rim of your pelvis, wants to feel as if it's evenly planted down. Interlace the fingers over the knee, and as you press your knee forward, feel the uplift and the space between the belly and the thigh. Right hand comes behind you to move into your twist. On each inhale, the tailbone releases down, the crown of the head reaches upwards, so there's a two-directional stretch of the spine, creating space between each facet joint. As you exhale, move into that space. And floating yourself around into a little counter twist. And unwinding around towards the front, any way you feel you can. We're going to reach or roll over, stretch back into our last down dog. And lowering the knees to the floor, hands a bit further forward from the shoulders, flatten the feet, circle your hips. In one direction 3 times, inhaling forward, exhaling back, rotating around each pillar. And then 3 times in the opposite direction. Coming to the center, taking the knees wide, the big toes to touch. Come into a child's pose. Your arms can be outstretched, they can be down by your side, they can be supporting your forehead. Stretching your arms out in front of you and curling your way up by picking the navel towards the spine, rolling up. Hands onto the thighs. Bring your knees together, sink your hips over to one side and stretch your legs out in front of you, coming towards the front of the mat. Curling your tailbone under and releasing yourself down onto the earth. Let's draw the knees towards the chest, keeping the tailbone down, and take a little rock across the sacrum from side to side, turning your head to the opposite side of your knees. Take your knees wide, flex your feet, reach inside your knees, take a hold of shins or ankles. Happy baby. Make sure the back of the neck is long, the tailbone reaches forward. Take a little rock here across the mid-back. And dropping heels to sit bones, draw your knees together and open your arms into a T shape. So we're going to rock the knees twice towards the left before we allow the knees to come to the floor into our last supine twist. So the same way, exhale, knees roll over to the left. Inhale, draw them back. Over to the left again as you exhale. Inhale, bring them back. Exhaling, lowering the knees all the way to the floor. Spread the shoulder blades. The arms can stay where they are. Or the left hand could come onto the top thigh just to give a bit more weight there. Right arm reaching up by the ear. If you've tried that and it's not comfortable for the shoulder, release the arms back out to the side. And just breathing through the navel, so not just at the front, but through the center of the body and into the back, where the navel would thread through. Open your arms out to the sides, draw your knees back through to the center as you inhale. Exhale, rock your knees to the right. Inhale, bring them back. Same way to the right as you exhale. Inhale, bring them back. Lower your knees slowly all the way over to the right. Keep the arms here, or right hand comes to way down the thigh, top of the thigh. Left arm up by the ear. And breathing through the navel center, so as if the navel travels through the center core of your body and out the back. Open your arms out to the sides, engage your core, bring your knees back through to the sides. Perhaps a final little squeeze here, hands onto knees, lift head and shoulders, cheeks to knees, curling yourself into a little seed. Knowing that everything you need is contained within this seed. Release the feet to the floor, arms down by your sides. And if you wish to stay here with the knees bent for your Shavasana, go ahead. If instead the back feels okay, to stretch the legs forward. Make sure you're warm and start to snuggle yourself down into the comfort of the earth. Once again, lengthen up through the back of the neck, base of the skull, and as the mind travels over the skin of the scalp, over the crown of the head and down the front of the face, softening the skin of the face downwards. Like a little cloth just draped over the bones there. And let the bones of the face themselves soften. Just to help to take you down, spend a few moments noticing the breath as it settles. And then allow even that focus to dissipate. Just resting in the self, resting in the being. And we'll be here just for 2 minutes together in silence. If you would like to stay in Shavasana a little longer, just allow my voice to flow through you. If you would like to return with me, then start the process of presence, bringing your presence back to your body and your breath. You can stretch out your limbs or wiggle fingers and toes just to make sure you're back inside your skin. And roll yourself over to the right side, pausing there for a moment. Before making your way back to any comfortable seat. And just notice once again the energetic body. And if your energy has changed, even through a short practice of moving and breathing, and bringing your hands to your heart in prayer. Bow your head towards the tips of your fingers, and every so often, perhaps throughout your day, just drop your sense of I amness from your head to your heart. And when you're ready, gently raise your gaze, open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Go gently and enjoy your day. Hopefully see some of you next week.